about a sand salt storage facility, very similar to the one Town Root has. The salesman, every once in a while, sends me a message, and I got one earlier this year that said there's grants available to help pay for a sand salt storage facility. They'll pay up to 50%. So if it's something the town board is interested in doing, we ought to pursue a grant writer or something. I don't know how it works. All I know is they said there's grants available.
Just my opinion, very much so, yes.
She gave me some information. I got some information onto it. I pass it on to you or whatever.
Any other opinions around the table about a salt and sand storage shed?
No, it's awesome. We should go for it. It was supposed to be open, those grants were supposed to be open last November, but they were delayed, so now they're open now. But I think they're only open for 3 or 4 months.
You haven't, for this year's application, you have until July 26th to apply for this year's, which says the state is accepting grant applications through Friday, July 26th. They're usually awarded in December. So it gives them time to figure out where they're gonna send the money.
Well,
But there's
like I said from you, or for you previously, we have to have some kind of specs there as to size on that storage facility.
Yeah, there's several different grants. One deals with clean water. The other one stands for water quality improvement. And the other one is Clean Water State Revolving Fund, the Shared Services Grants. They sent me a lot of information on, there's 4 pages here of different grants that you can apply for towards a salt storage facility.
I would like to suggest that maybe we have a board member work with Artie and get right on it. That's not saying we have to do it, but we have to come up with specs and we have to fill out grant applications here. And the time doesn't allow for 2 or 3 months worth of board meetings and screwing around with it.
Artie, did they send you a link to the what
Oh, yeah,
grant did you
there's
think
about
that you were going to?
There's about 15 links here.
Okay.
I can make copies of this and give them to you. And just there's actually one of the links I clicked on it, and then there's the Montgomery County Business Development Center is hosting a CFA, a Consolidated Funds application. That one's June 20th at the college. Fulton County is doing one June 6th in Gloversville. You're supposed to attend one of these classes on writing the grants, but I'm not a grant writer, so.
I could work with him, but I'd like to see a model of that kind of grant. Because it's folly just
Right.
writing off.
Although business development, I know that because I was contacted by Montgomery County Business Development, the one on June 20th, I think the new business development director may have some models for us. The one who took Amanda's place.
What's the location on the June 20th?
Fulton Montgomery County College. Yeah. And that one's in the afternoon. That one's on June 20th, 2 to 4 p.m. I can give you a copy of this, I think, if you want to see it.
Okay.
Give you copies, and you can check out the links. You click on the links that were sent to me, and you can link for hours.
But you're gonna have the specs that you desire.
A building,
Or-
yeah.
I mean, that you wanna have.
Yeah, I can come up with, because
Yeah.
I looked at one probably 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I thought, long before anybody else had one. I priced one, and then Root built theirs, and I repriced the same one I priced before, and it had like doubled in price in 6 years.
If we don't get at it pretty quick, we're gonna be forced to do it.
That was my thought.
And they're gonna ask for, because they're gonna rebate 50%, they're gonna want us to give a projected cost.
Sure.
So I guess the first thing is Artie can spec it, and then you have records from the last time you priced one.
Yeah.
You gonna keep everything exactly the same as this?
The one I priced before was very similar in size to the Town Roots, except the one end was totally open, wasn't closed in at all.
Does anybody have an objection to Hank working with Artie to try to bring this thing to a head as soon as possible?
No?
Is that okay?
Yep.
Corey Nellis might be of some help to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because it does mention soil and water on there too.
Okay. Then if we can count on you fellows to bring us back something at the next board meeting it's kind of solid as to specs and as to grant
Well,
and
what-
as to cost.
I can bring you,
What's the
Over to Corey.
drop dead date for submitting the application?
July 29th,
Okay, and
We said 26.
or 26, yeah.
Yeah, 26.
frequently they use, in academia, they use portals now where you have to get into their gosh darn online system. And if you do it at the end, like everybody else is trying to get in there, it's a mess, so.
Yes.
We probably
Sooner the better.
Try to get out there sooner.
I'll give you a copy of everything I got here.
July 26th,
Corey's down
D
in the
Day
soil and
here.
water office.
so, you know, in
The
June, we
water?
gotta have it
The
pretty
soil
well
and water.
formed.
Oh, okay.
On Route 5S. I can introduce you over there.
And the only other thing I had was, we got blacktop bids, I hope.
Okay, you're gonna stick around for a while, I'd like to come back to you with the blacktop business if I can.
Yep.
At this time, I would like to introduce Judge Seiss. I mean, I don't wanna hold him up all night. I know he wanted to speak.
Thank you, Bill.
We're honored to have you here,
Oh.
and I'm sorry, this
I'm
took
honored to
longer
be
than
here.
I thought.
No, I'm honored to be here, and it reminds me of just how difficult it is to pay the bills, from keeping your highway department, equipment together, and I'm here to talk a little bit about your town court, and how difficult it is for a small town to have the facilities for the town office buildings, as well as the facilities for town courts. But to kind of lighten it up a little bit, I wanted to remind you all, and I'm finishing 30 years of public service, and I'm actually retiring, but I'm not going anywhere like I told you, your attorney. I'm going right into private practice like she and her husband, my wife and I are going to private practice. But I wanted to take this opportunity. I was talking to Judge Dygert, and I asked him about the town meeting, and I said I'd love to have an opportunity to address the town council. When I first came back from the Bronx District Attorney's Office, I was an assistant district attorney for Guy Tomlinson. I had an opportunity to appear in the town of Palatine Justice Court. Back then, we were down in the village offices in the cellar, in a room about this big. And I appeared in front of Judge Dygert as a 27-year-old assistant DA, thinking I was hot stuff. And I remember coming back from the Bronx. In the Bronx, there were 10,000 indictments a year. And I was one of 360 assistant DAs. And it was really rough and tumble. And I thought I was coming back to my hometown, where it was peace and quiet. And I came out to the town courts, and I realized just how difficult it is and how dangerous it is for our law enforcement and for our citizens, and that we have real crime here in Montgomery County. I remember getting interviewed by Guy Tomlinson, the DA, and I thought, I'm going back home. I'm out of the city. And there was a undercover cocaine case on trial. Jury was deliberating. There was a rape case called. There was an attempted murder case, and I thought, where am I? And so I was immediately reminded that no matter where you go, we are constantly in fear of crime, and we need our deputies and our state troopers. And our town courts really are the front line for the civil and criminal justice system. Although I was one of 360 assistant DAs in the Bronx, when I came back to Montgomery County, I was one of 3 part-time assistant DAs. But it was the same job. It's just a much nicer community. And so I have an opportunity tonight just to remind you, just give the viewpoint of the court system. I'm a Supreme Court judge now. I was a county judge for 3 years, and then I'm a Supreme Court judge. I'm finishing up, I'm in my 21st year at Supreme Court. And my father at one time was the chief administrative judge of the state of New York. And I have a scales on the bench, and the scales, it's a nice, scales. It's, looks like something you'd have in a courtroom. But in the scales are, to Judge Robert J. Seiss for his service to the state, and on the right side, from the Town and Village Magistrates Association. My father was the biggest advocate for town judges because we get more justice in our whole system, and I'm now a Supreme Court judge. We get more justice and more hard work throughout the state from our town judges than any other judge. You know, I'm on Supreme Court and Felix Catina's a county judge. We think we're so busy. We're nowhere near as busy as your town judges, as your town judge here. And I just want to remind you of that and how important it is, the important work you do, that to please remember that on behalf of the court system, if you can remember to provide for the town of Palatine the adequate facilities. Now, in that vein, the appellate division is the intermediate appellate court between the trial courts and the highest court in New York State. The appellate division of the 3rd Department. They're coming to the Fonda Courthouse on next week on Thursday the 6th, and it's open to the public, and they're going to hear some arguments. Well, they did this 21 years ago when Judge Jim White was retiring, and he was on the appellate division, and I was the county judge at the time, and we went overboard to welcome the appellate division because it's a big deal, I think. And we built a new bench because there's the trial bench and the appellate bench is just all level, so all the judges sit level. So we built a new appellate bench right in front of our Supreme Court trial bench. And Judge Tony Cardona, who was the presiding judge, he's now passed away, he couldn't get over it that the people of Montgomery County went overboard to welcome the court. Well, 21 years later, I talked to Matt Ossenfort, our county executive, and I talked to Eric Mead, his head of the DPW, and they've built a new bench. 21 years ago, we took the bench that we used for the appellate division with Jim White, and we moved it to a different part of the courthouse and made a trial bench out of it in the jury assembly room to make a new courtroom. 21 years later, we're taking that bench, and the county has put forth resources to build it. I'm going to try to get the Office of Court Administration to put some money together to reimburse the county for that, the Montgomery County Bar to reimburse the county for that. But we're going to refit that and make sure it's used for the town of Palatine. It's a beautiful bench, and there's you know, having been both a trial lawyer before the bench and a trial judge on the bench, there really is something. It's very important. I think the town should understand that the appropriate facilities give an air of authority and finality to the important decisions your town judge makes. I just want to say a little something about Judge Ron Dygert. Judge Ron Dygert, who's your judge, and sometimes you're a prophet in your own land without honor. Judge Ron Dygert, I've come to know, who's been town of Palatine for over 30 years, Judge, has become not only respected amongst the Montgomery County Bar Association, but the bar members who appear before him throughout this area, but also by the judges. This past Saturday, the Supreme Court, the county court judge, the surrogate court judge, the family court judge held training that was organized by Judge Dygert down in the Supreme Court room. And a lot of the town judges came because Judge Dygert set it up. I've also am friends with the personnel from the Office of Court Administration, which is statewide, who runs the town and village justices with the support unit of the Office of Court Administration. The directing lawyer looks to Ron Dygert for leadership statewide. And that's kind of nice to know that your own town judge also was respected throughout the state. So when Judge Dygert told me about the tough issues that the town council are wrestling with, I wanted the opportunity to remind you, probably something you already know, that you have a real gem in Judge Dygert, that you have a great village, that from the time I was an assistant DA to the time I'm now retiring and going to be returning back to the town of Palatine to represent clients before the town court, we can rely upon Judge Dygert. We can rely upon the people of Palatine to provide a forum for people to come who are sometimes in great turmoil, whether it be in criminal cases or those small claims cases. It's a misnomer to call it small claims. It's not small claims when you have you and your neighbor arguing before the town court. To have the stability that Judge Dygert brings, the stability that's provided by the people of the town of Palatine. I remember when Miles Frazier was sitting in your seat, he was the town supervisor. Town of Palatine was a solid town, and it still is. And I'm glad to be a citizen in Montgomery County. I'm glad to be serving as a judge on the bench with Judge Dygert, who was at my last swearing in and in the picture with all the other judges. And I look forward to appearing in front of him again. And I'm so pleased that this beautiful bench, it's all oak, is going to be provided to the town of Palatine, so it's gonna be used for years, except it's very big, so we gotta make sure we have a little bit more room than this little closet back here. But that's obviously another problem that the town council's gotta wrestle with. I wanna thank you for giving me the opportunity. One other thing, I know that our chief clerk, I told him where I was going tonight, he said, can you please say that when we get our paperwork from Judge Deiger, it's perfect. I don't want to put down, don't tell any of the other towns. But we so love getting our packets from the cases that, the very serious felonies that move up to the county court. The town judge has to put together everything, bring it down, and hand deliver it, and he does. And he just is a real pro, and I'm glad to call him as a friend, and I look forward to appearing in front of him again. But I want to thank you for getting the opportunity to talk to you and tell you how much the town of Palatine means to me, having been a candidate here and going door to door throughout Palatine back in 1995 when I first went for political office, and also watching how you handle your very difficult issues in a professional way, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's finish Artie up. Rather than bust it up here. You have anything else?
Nope, that was everything I had, just,
So
we got blacktop bids to open, and if you guys are interested in looking forward to that.
let's open the bids now, the blacktop bids.
This one is from Hanson Aggregate. It's the only one we have.
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, could you ask the council to speak a little louder? Thank you.
Come on, sit in the front seat if you want.
That's all right.
I'm here.
I'm happy.
Come on, Marge.
Okay, for Con Road, the cap is $74,390, and the course is, for the true and level, is $4,171.20. Saltzman Road, the top course is $29,089.50 for a total bid of $107,650.70. You want to see this, Artie?
No.
Artie, how's that compared to my number?
What does it, it's got a dollar price per ton, don't it?
Huh?
On the left side, to the left of the
Oh, for the
price per ton.
price per ton for the course, top course for Con Road is $69.20, and the true and level is $94.80, and the top course for Saltzman is $70.95.
Well, when I estimated what it was gonna cost for a year, I estimated at $65. Of course, price of blacktop's gone up a little bit
There
too.
was a $5 escalation rate just
Yeah.
recently.
Well, I gotta ask why the difference in the two tops? Why 94 for one and
Because-
70 for the other?
Because Con Road's gonna take all day to do that road, and then they're gonna move to Saltzman Road, and they don't work half a day.
All right,
So,
that's reflected in the,
it's a difference of
Percent price.
$1.70 a ton. The $94 a ton is because it's a little rough on the machine to drag the machine down the road and only put T&L in.
only one bid though on all this work.
Yep, one bid.
That's the trouble that's getting to be around here.
Everybody's busy. The blacktop companies are all busy.
Yeah,
But then he has
It's tough to work with the weather too. They're way behind. Everybody's way behind too.
Callahan just gave us a bid the other day on a road that was less than a half a mile long for $130,000 with a tack coat. That is less than a half a mile.
is the county gonna take it?
No.
Well, see, that's what I'm getting at here. It's getting so, it's Hanson. Now, they've more or less monopolized the business, and they're tough to beat. But once they got the rest of them beat out of bidding, they're gonna do as they wanna do.
Right.
And where is this now? Is this them doing as they wanna do, or is this a competitive bid?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what Mohawk's prices are, but I'm pretty sure they're real close to Mohawk's. You remember what Bill Hove's bid was?
No, I don't.
Well, we don't have to accept it tonight, right? We've opened it.
Right, I don't think you have to, no.
30 days.
I think it's good for 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can call another meeting just to accept the bids. But I wanna hear from you. You're in that neighborhood, that's your bailiwick, that's where you play. Do you think this is a competitive bid? It's a lot of money.
At $70 a ton, I honestly was gonna use, I'm pretty sure Bill Hovig's bid is over $70 a ton, because that's the number I was gonna use for budgeted. And I used 65.
Do we wanna see if we can't get a couple more bids?
Well, you're gonna have to go back out the bid again, but you already opened one.
You guys are both involved in this kind of stuff every day. I'm not. I don't know whether this is a
I'd
good
be
bid or
kinda
not.
curious to see why Cobleskill Stone didn't bid it.
You fellas wanna put in some time on this and
Yeah, we can.
give us an indication here of what we should be doing, because
What's the county bid on blacktop right now?
I don't know,
Wish I knew.
I'd have to look tomorrow.
I'll bet if you went to Hanson to buy blacktop, it's gonna cost you pretty much that on the county
I'm
bid.
sure, I'm sure.
And that's
Like I said, but I-
delivering it and putting it on the road.
in the way the weather is, maybe they get jammed up, maybe the prices are gonna go up.
Well, and the other thing is too, is Hanson's working right in our backyard. They just did all of Route 10. They gotta do all of 29 yet, and they're probably gonna get the rest of Route 10 this fall. So they're working right in our neighborhood, so they're gonna be aggressive, I think, in our neck of the woods. Since I've been highway superintendent, we only had 2 other years where somebody other than Hanson did our pavement.
So is this aggressive?
I'd say it's a good number.
I'd say it's a good number too, because like I said, there was just recently a $5 escalation rate.
So if we monkey around here, it's liable to cost us more. That's
Yeah.
what you're telling me, right?
Yeah.
Plus, we gotta go to the end of the line, right? They're not gonna do it, like, for you next week, it's when they're done and they can come, right?
Well, they'll do
It
it, they
depends
gotta
on
do
how
it within,
fast.
they gotta do it within 30 days of me saying the road's ready to be paved.
Okay.
It says that in the contract. They got 30-day window after I say, come pay for us. We always like to pay before school
You
starts.
got shoulder work to do too when this is done?
No. Oh, yeah, backing them up,
Yeah,
yeah.
back shoulders up afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
earlier in the
usually
year.
we usually pave after school closes in June and before September 1st. So it gives us all of July and all of August to,
Okay.
that way we don't have to contend with school buses because we pave full width.
And who knows, escalation may go down. Oh, it's been known to go down.
Sean, it's just a big number to me.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
agree with it.
And I'm not a player in that field. I don't buy blacktop every day. So I don't know what I'm doing, and you guys.
I wish I knew what the
in
county
business.
bid was for blacktop for Hanson. I'll
Yeah,
bet it's pretty close.
I'd have to look tomorrow, I'll call you. I don't remember right offhand.
Well, you don't have to accept it tonight. We can, Sean and I can talk it over tomorrow or whatever and
Yeah.
see what the county bid is.
Then we gotta have another meeting.
Well, if we do it next meeting before the end of the month, we don't. You're in the month, next meeting's gonna be less than 30 days.
You're right.
Next meeting's only gonna be 20 days away.
So we can accept or reject the bid at the next regular
That's
meeting
what I would say, yeah.
and be there and be safe.
And that still gives you plenty of time to accept the
Yeah, to do
contract.
his
and go.
shoulders and-
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we get the shoulders done before, as long as we get the road paved before school starts again. That's our-
Table this part of it for the next meeting?
Well, we have the bids, we open the bids, we just haven't accepted the bids. If you like, we'll do a motion to table it until the next meeting. That's, I guess, the official way to do it here.
I'll make
Somebody
that-
want to make a
I'll
motion?
make that motion till Artie and Sean get us more information on the.
Second,
There's a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Good decision, I think.